And good evening, good morning, good night, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to this special edition of Broken Not Shattered. I'm in the house with my co-host OBG. And you know when Obi and I are in the same place is a problem. It's always a problem. So before I start this conversation with Obi, I think it's very important to both us and the brand, which we don't normally do, is to let everyone know, all our audience, those who are going to play it back now, those who are going to play it back in the future, those who are watching live, know that this is not about you. This is just not about you. This is just the conversation that's in the marketplace. People have reached out to us. My team have thought about it over and over and over, and they said, "Okay, I can you please step out with Obi so you guys can both address this conversation." Now, there might be some controversy to it, which is okay, and there's also some truth to it, which is also okay. But at the end of the day, this is just my opinion and Obi's opinion. And we know that the rest of the world, you guys have your own opinion too. So, Obi, let's get straight down to it. The question is, what is it that men know that women would like to know? Is that it? Am I correct? What did the team say again, Obi? What's the topic again?
What men wish women knew.
Okay, that's it. There you go. What men wish women knew.
Knew, yeah.
So that's a very interesting topic. When you're talking about what is it that men wish women knew, I guess what the topic here will be addressing is what is it that men are dealing with that they wish that the women in their lives, be it their wives, their partners, their female friends, their sisters, even their mothers in some ways, their daughters would know that this is a struggle that most men go through, and they wish that the females or the women in their lives had an idea, especially when it comes to relationship. And I'm talking about adults here. And remember, this is an adult program. So I think the very first thing that most men would like the women in their life to know is their love language. What speaks love to a man? Having been on planet Earth for some time now, I've understood very clear that what speaks love to a man is not the same thing that gains the attention of a woman. And in most cases, most women just speak their own love language, and they think that that's how men respond. Men have feelings, men have opinions, men have thoughts. Men are human. The only difference is just our gender, gender biologically, our gender how we're wired. But for the most components, it's the same blood that bleeds from every male that bleeds also through females. Why am I taking time to break this down so we can understand that yes, there is some of us that feel that men are from Mars and women are from Venus. At the end of the day, both planets might find a way to come together, and there's some ingredients that have to be put in that soup to make the soup turn out to be the kind of thing that you want to buy, swallow, and enjoy, or just for those who are not into that kind of soup and are used to licking regular soups. There's a difference between a good soup and a not so good soup, and the components or ingredients that have to be put in that relationship. So the first thing I think most men would understand, would wish women in their lives knew is what speaks to them, what is their love language. Most of the time, men spell love LOVE as RESPT, RESPECT, respect. Yeah, that's how most men spell love. Today, now, when you mentioned that, the women who, in some ways, feel that they're liberal than others would attack that. Why is he asking for respect? What does he mean by respect? Okay, let's change it. Let's change the word respect. And another word that the Bible uses is honor. Honor. If you honor someone, that is also respect. Now, honor doesn't mean you have to suck up to him or whatever he says is is final, or whatever he says is golden, or whatever he says is actually the most articulate, but it's actually recognizing that you can't have two captains in one ship. Whenever you have two captains in one ship, that ship is definitely destined for a shipwreck. Why would I say that? Because one captain might be thinking in a different direction, and the other captain can be thinking in a different direction. But you can have one captain, and then you have deputy captains or assistant captains, and what they do, they come together and put ideas together and make sure that they navigate that ship to get to its own destination. But just like in the kitchen, you can't have two chefs in the same kitchen giving out and dishing out instructions at the same time. There has to be one lead, one head, just like us biologically, and then other components of that. So if you don't want to use the word respect, ladies, the other word is honor. And I know that honor, most of the time we will say, oh, the honor is deserved or should be worked towards. But in most cases, and especially how we've been wired, it is actually the other way around. It's a position that has been given to the male component of who we are on planet Earth. And so once you've assigned him that honor and you honor him and respect him, in most cases, what men do is it gives them that drive to get up and stand, to get up to protect, to get up, because my female counterpart, or my daughter, or my sister, or my mother has shown that, for lack of a better word, is the weaker vessel. Not that she's weak, she's the weaker vessel. And then the man feels that, okay, I just have to carry my mother, or carry my sister, or carry my wife, or carry my girlfriend, or carry who that other person is. Just carry that female in my life across the fires of life, because that's how we are wired. We're wired to be assessed by how we perform, whether we're performing in the boardroom, or whether we're performing in the bedroom, or we're performing on the sports field. It's for men. It's all about how well can we perform, how well can we take care of those needs that our spouses or our partners have. And so that's most of the time our drive. Now, everybody's raised differently, and in our process of trying to drive or accomplish that, sometimes we fall short. And once we fall short, how you choose to respond to that female in our life makes a difference. A guy can fall short, and you can say, hey, you know what? I know you're better than this. Get up and go. Keep on pushing. You get there. And somebody says, see, look at you now. You're falling short, and you call yourself a man. Other men are doing great and mighty things, So, again, it all depends on how you see it. What's your take, Obi?
I think you've said it all, or you've said it to a very reasonable extent. But I think before I get into it, I want to do something. I just want to catch up a little bit with you. It's been a long time we're in the studio together, and I've always looked, forward to, we being in the studio together. I remember our old days when we were in the studio and we vibe and vibe and vibe. It's interesting. Nice catching up with you again. I'm so impressed.
Thanks. Same here, brother. Yeah.
And it's good to discover that some people are not getting younger anymore.
Well, I've chosen eventually to leave my gray hair coming all the way on both sides. I like it, and
I'm tapping into that grace. As I grow older, I get more handsome. That's the grace I want to tap into. I get that. So jumping right into it. It was good you started with a disclaimer. In fact, whatever is happening in the studio at the moment is or can't be likened to gospel according to St. Luke, St. John, Mark, and the rest. It is not cast on stone or proven. This is opinions we are sharing, and it is not based on any knowledge of anybody. It is just, our opinion, and it is not about anybody. Then, having said that, I like the way you came in. Initially, I was thinking, how do we categorize it? But while you were talking, two major categories came to my head, which I believe there are several other categories. I'm going to look at these two directions. Now, first is when you say what men which women knew. First category, like you said, we have love language. That's one. And second is that we are emotional. Now, having a love language and being emotional is a personal thing. Everybody have their own way of expressing their emotion. And so that's why how I express my emotion or how I feel my emotions or my emotional expectations might be different from your emotional expectations. And that's why I'm saying this is gospel according to different disciples. So according to me, my emotions or the way I receive emotions or the way I want my emotions to be seen might be quite different from any other man. Now, it is for whoever is the woman in your life to discover your own emotional language. But the bottom line is that men have emotion. And please let me take you back a bit before I get into this. I had wanted to say earlier, the curiosity might be why the topic, right? Why do men want us to know how they feel, right? It is not that women don't know, but I think on the better side, it is to foster a better relationship, to enhance our relationship, add to something you already have. Women are wonderful. Honestly, without women on planet Earth, it will be a chaos. But to make a better relationship, how I wish you know, you're good, but I wish you know this. It makes things much easier. And I think that's the reason why the topic. And having said that, back to what I was saying. So men have emotions. It is for you as a woman to understand that men have emotions. They are not stones. Men also want you to understand that they have emotions. Now, how they express their emotions differ from how women express their emotions. So sometimes don't feel like you don't have emotions. We also cry, right? We may not go about our cry the way women do, but we'll cry loudest, though, not vocally.
Let me chip in without interrupting you. Sorry, Obi. I think
Okay.
another thing is actually, yes, we cry, but we cry inside. We internalize a lot. We internalize a lot of our emotions. We internalize a lot of how we feel. Unfortunately, I'm one of those guys, so I don't have a problem crying out. If I have to cry out, I'll cry out. Most of the time, I try to. But again, because when you cry out, people think it's a form of weakness, but it's not a form of weakness. It's actually you being able to express yourself, and like one of my friends would say, cleanse your eyes, But yeah, so when men cry, it's okay, it's fine. Actually, a strong man is someone who can actually shed tears because you're confident of who you are. I think another thing is being a very confident person, and again, confidence for a man might sometimes come across as being cocky or being rude or being disrespectful. But it's actually not that. How a man will perceive some level of confidence is not the same way a woman will see a level of confidence. Because in a man's confidence, it comes with courage, right? It comes with courage. Actually, sometimes in a man's confidence, he comes with silence. He doesn't talk. He doesn't respond. He just stays quiet. He avoids having an argument with you or having a conversation that can actually erupt into an argument. And then he takes it down. He doesn't mean that he has backed down. He just takes back a step to out of his own confidence to find out there's no need arguing or having this conversation now because they will not make sense. He stands on his ground and he's also open to your own opinion if you come up with a more superior opinion. He's open to listen to you if you come up with a more superior argument. It's confidence. It's a confident man should be able to say, you know what, that thing you said is correct. I was wrong. I didn't assess it well. Your assessment of that situation, it's much accurate than mine. That's confidence, and you accept it. The fact that she's female does not mean that you know everything pass up. Do you understand? There are women who are around us who are very, very intelligent and very sharp, and so you have to give them that platform and that opportunity to express themselves. The problem is when she now starts over expressing herself, because now she's now getting into a different arena, a different zone, and it's all about talk, and then it comes across as a nag. And even scripture tells you that it's better for a man to sleep on his own on the rooftop than actually stay in the same house with a nagging wife. And now, when a woman expresses herself, it's not nagging. So there has to be, again, a balance. You must be able to discern, which is why a man has to have a lot of wisdom and have a lot of divinity around him, because then you can discern when it's a nag and when it's actually her expressing herself or actually sharing her feelings and her concerns. And it's wrong for us. I've fallen into that trap many times where I kind of brush off someone's feelings or brush off the feelings of someone who's there to me that I should be paying attention to, right? And I'll just brush it off with a comment that I did not intend to. That's the problem. I didn't intend to brush off the thing, but my words, the way I said it and how I said it, again, the way and how and what I said are two different things, then can now actually trigger off that person feeling that they were being brushed aside. And if that's the case, it is on me, again, to pull that person closer and explain my intent. If my intent is always pure and my heart is in the right place, then we're good to go. We're good to go. Again, so that's why I agree with you on the emotional part. There's some questions that came. People have been asking us questions. So let me read one of them. How does the woman in your life know that you truly care about her? How? That's a very open-ended question. Every culture is different, though. In some cultures, maybe if you buy her a house and buy her cars, she knows that you care about her. In other cultures, if you give her flowers, you make phone calls to her, that's her own way. You protect her, you're there for her, she can speak to you, you're granting her. That's a deep question. I guess for the women out there who want to find out, number one, I think what it is that the man should understand who he's with, the female that you're with, or the female that you're actually interacting with. Get to know the person, because then you know that not all women are the same. And so how you respond to her, like the question is, how do you know that he truly cares about me? Well, it's all about you. It's how he cares about you, because at that particular time, he has to understand what's important to you and identify that. Some other person might be spending a lot of time nurturing the kids at home. Others might be building a business empire. So you just have to find out what it is that's important to her at that time and pay attention to that and show care and concern of what the person is dealing with and also the person themselves. I hope I answered that question. Obi, go ahead. How do you respond to that question? How do you know, how does your wife know that you truly care about her, Obi?
How does your wife know that you truly cares for her? That's a very, very diplomatic question. Now, how does she know? I'm going to say this, sorry. How does she know? Will mean two things. Get my logic. It is her knowledge. So that she has a level of expectation. How does she know that Now, I'm going to tell her, irrespective of her expectation for me to prove I love her, I want her to understand how I love her. So, which might be different from her expectations. And this is what I want to say. To her, I want you to know that I may not give you the word at a go, but you're always in my mind. For whatever I give to you is from my heart, irrespective of the quality, the weight, or whatever price that may be tagged to it materially. But just know that whatever comes from me comes from a place of love and care. Secondly, whatever concerns you bothers me. I want to know, I want to be involved, no matter how little. I may not have the capacity, but I care enough. It worries me when you're not fine.
That's right.
That's another thing. Can
you say that again, Obi? I think that one was big. It worries you when they are not fine.
I am always worried or concerned whenever you're worried.
That's right. That's
it concerns me. What concerns you or what worries you concerns me.
Yes, right. That's
right. Yes, it bothers me a whole lot, and I need you to know that clearly. Again, I respect you a whole lot, and that's why sometimes I keep quiet. Why? Because I love you and I respect you. Again, when I ask questions, it is because I care. When a man is inquisitive, when a man wants to know, it is because he loves. When a man doesn't love you, he cares less. Like he doesn't want to be bothered. But when a man is emotionally, involved, wants some questions, he loves you so much, and that's why he asks. That's so when you see some level of inquisitiveness, it is a sign of love. Above all, people might disagree with this, but jealousy is also an element in me that proves I love you. Wow, yes. A man wants to be jealous that somebody admires his wife.
That's right.
Right? Yes. And a man is also proud that the wife has what it takes for another man to say, damn.
Exactly. Yes, you're right. You're right about that too. You're very right about that, because if nobody's looking at your woman, then there's a problem, right? Yeah, because it makes him feel like, yeah, he's the king of the jungle. You know that guy? Yes. It makes him feel like the king of the. So you have to make sure there's a balance. And then for the woman too, it doesn't mean you have to now start going around shaking yourself all over the place, because the man does not like that neither. You have to find that balance where you can look beautiful, sexy, appealing, carry yourself well, but just have so the guy feels like he's doing something. Yeah, I think most women need attention, or they expect it, and I think men should be very intentional to give attention to the women that they really, really care about. Your spouse, your whoever you're with, you make sure that you're paying attention to that person, because the more attention you pay to them, the more you get to know the issues that they're feeling. Sometimes women don't really always express themselves. How you doing? She'll say fine. How you doing? She says fine, but fine, she's not really fine, right? So you have to find another question to ask her. How was your day? And then before you say, my day. What? And she starts talking. Meanwhile, you asked her 3 times earlier on, how you doing? She says fine. How you doing? Fine. But fine wasn't what she was asking for. It was, how was her day? Now you're being specific. And he says how stressful her day was, juggling the kids, juggling the house, juggling the business, juggling work, whatever it is, So we have to be more intentional as men. And then also make out time for romance. I think that's very important. Most men of color some don't appear to be romantic, and it's a problem. I didn't say all, I said most. So they're not very. We're not very romantic. In our own way of expressing that romance has always been a challenge. So what we need to do then is to be very intentional to find out her love language and try and keep that fire going. Don't assume that because you've gotten her, the fire is all over. Before the children was her, all right, and before the children was him. So you guys have to keep on working on that relationship. What most times you see is people just get bogged down with children, fees, bills, and other stuff, and then the connection between the two individuals that came together, that are creating these children and creating these bills, gradually start moving further and further away, and before you know it, relationships have totally broken down one way or the other. Um, I just found out recently, talking to someone who's very much in the counseling space in Nigeria, where you are, that now the divorce rate is now almost 80%. You know, so people are getting divorced left, right, and center in your part of the world. And I think most of the times where people are getting divorced in Nigeria or those part of the world is basically a lot of stress and in some ways financial pressure. You know, people haven't taken time to understand themselves as friends and built a very healthy relationship. It was all about the wedding, not about the marriage. You know, people are excited that, oh, I'm getting, come to my wedding, come to my wedding, come to my wedding. And it's all about the wedding, spending money and showing all these flashy cars and flashy dances, inviting celebrities who don't know who you are. You just come there, you pay them to show up, you know, all that kind of nonsense. And then you miss the most important thing, which is actually the marriage itself, the substance in the marriage, strengthening the marriage and building that marriage and creating a healthy marriage, so that at the end of the day, you can walk back and say, wow. And most of us make the mistake of just marrying the wrong people. And after the wedding is come and gone, you begin to find out this person is just completely not working, just not working. Especially when there's abuse or somebody's beating up somebody or something like that. You know, you just want to make sure that you protect yourself and save yourselves from that hassle. But at the end of the day, I think constant communication, constant interaction is very key to build those relationships. What says you, Obi, as we begin to wind down? I know this topic. People were expecting me to go all in with fire. Don't worry, this is just the beginning. This is day one. Maybe we should have part 2 and part 3. And by part 3, then you'll see we'll start talking about sex, you know, and intimacy and things like that. Maybe that will now capture more audience. But I wanted to create this foundation so people will know that we're not here to castigate the female species, or we're not here as two men just talk randomly. We're actually giving it some thought. And to the ladies who are watching, feel free to ask questions, send emails, send us messages. We will take note of that, and we'll try and answer those questions as we go along in our future shows on this same topic. All right, Obi, your call.
I agree with you. I think we can run a series on this because it is very deep, very, very deep. So what I'm going to say is this: there were 2 things on my mind. I said I must, air before we leave here. Now let me begin with one. I don't know if it is crazy or not, but let me begin with it. It is that men eat the eyes. For men, their eyes eat before they get close. And I'm going to break it down. So we want to always see you like that. That's that girl that wowed us the best thing. In whatever you do, never to be caught for fresh. I'm going to say that. And what do I mean? Some ladies have that habit of, after a while, they loosen up, right? Your man wants that level of catchy. He had that first day. That level of courage, package, you had that intentionality that you use as a trap to get him. Please maintain it. Men love that.
Yeah.
How women know. That's one. Now
and this then is very easy, If you can get you can go to any go to a stylist, go to a beautician, you can do several things to your hair, all those things that make you look like wow. Keep on wowing him.
Keep on wowing him.
Yeah, and also not just only with the outside adornment, also inside. That smile, that nice jokes that you used to crack, that beautiful soup or meal that you're good at making. You smell nice, you look nice. You're not wearing fuzzy, greasy, oily clothes. The lingerie that you wear, you're very intentional. You go to Victoria's Secret and say, "Oh, this will look good on me. He would like to see this." And you just keep on spicing it up. I agree with you. I completely agree with you.
Yeah. So the second to it is this. I would really love women to understand that men are not for now. They are not for the now. They do not think the moment. They think future.
Long term.
Long term. So when you see a man think, he has money in his hands, but he's thinking. He's not thinking for the moment. He's thinking 5, 10 years to come. Men are built to be responsible, and every right-thinking man understands that. So even when a man receives pay, he's not thinking of himself for now. He's thinking of his responsibility. How do I stay responsible? How do I carry this people for the next 5 years? In the next 5 years, are we going to maintain this? Are we going to go better? What are other channels, resources that can keep life easy for us? These are what men think every day. No right thinking man thinks the moment, thinks the food now. Women should also understand, in as much as we say that the gateway to the man's heart is the food, but they should know that food is not their problem because they can always get the food. They think tomorrow, next tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's also I think it's also important while men are having those long-term goals, they carry the woman in their lives along. Because you see, a woman will always follow you when she knows where you're going. It's when she doesn't know where you're going that she gets anxious and there's a lot of anxiety. She doesn't know what you're trying to do. But if you sit her down and carry her along, explain to her what it is you're trying to accomplish here, listen to her, and make sure that you're not doing it at the detriment of the family or detriment of your relationship. Whatever you're doing is intentional to help you guys build. You get the support you need in most cases. I won't say in all cases, because I've met a few who are completely terrible. But in most cases, they will actually support you, they'll encourage you, they'll move you forward. Just try and make sure that you actually get to the finish line and finish strong. Because by you finishing strong, she's also finished strong. The family has finished strong. So yeah, I completely agree with you. I completely agree. Isn't it amazing how time runs out when we start talking about things like this? I can see guys in the background telling me, okay, time is up. All right, Obi. So let's take one more question and we can wrap up the show and then come back again and discuss what is going on in your world, what is going on in your environment. I know you guys are building up for elections to come up soon. What's happening there? How are people responding? Are the relationships that people have different from each other? What's going on?
Yeah, I think it's interesting that you asked what's going on. A whole lot is going on, and it's nice if you asked. I wouldn't want to say globally. Let me narrow it down to where we are. Africa as a continent, where I come from, a whole lot is happening, and even with the narrative of the xenophobic attack in South Africa, which has its own, stories around it. But I think what is
sorry for interrupting you, Obi. I heard recently that one of the reasons why South African men are asking foreigners to leave, especially Nigerian men, is because Nigerian men are just mesmerizing their women.
Yeah.
One of the things in love with all these Nigerian men. They're taking good care of them in every department. I heard. So the South African women are no more interested in South African men. And so the South African men had a meeting and said, you know what? These men have to leave. We have to get them out. I heard that's what even all the way to Parliament. That some Nigerian guys dating some officials up there in the corridors of power, and things were happening. And Nigerian men were like, these men were like, we have to get these guys out. Is that true? Is that a problem? Is that why South Africans are asking all Africans to leave?
Yeah. I think there is a serious element of truth in what you said. I think it is not far from the truth. It is part of what is happening. But the truth is that the Nigerian men are very unique species of men, right? Very, very unique. They are own good in their own way. They are the ladies' spec. Nature had made it too. I said I leave it at that. But then, coming to what is happening around us, is clear that something serious is happening, and it is moving towards paradigm shift in how we see leadership currently. At least we've come to a large extent to understand that one of the problems of Africa is leadership. And in as much as what is happening in South Africa may not look nice, but on the flip side, it's beginning to make sense. Some of them are coming out to say, go out, go fix your country. And it's good. Let's come back, get involved, and fix it. We have the issue of leadership crisis. There is so many lacunas in our area of leadership, if I may use that word. There are in fact, we have a level of serious decay in our leadership system, and we all need to get involved and fix it. The challenge is serious. The how do I put it? Will I say the opposition we encounter in this case is so serious, and I need everybody to put on their best for it. I will urge everybody, more especially if you're a Nigerian and you're in Nigeria, get your PVC, be ready to defend your vote. I'm not going to say this is who you need to vote, but I think we're coming to a point where we understand what leadership and citizenship is all about. And to understand that if we get it wrong in how we select our leaders, we'll get our system messed up the more. Wow. We've come to a point where we need to understand that who governs you plays a very important role, and there is need for us to get involved. Yeah. So we're getting aware.
Wow. Thank you so much, Obi. One of the platforms that I follow is called I Think Nigeria. Very, very active platform. I get a lot of my information from that platform. So if anybody's interested and you want to find out more, you can go there and click and see what's going on in those areas. All right, brother. The guys at the back end are saying, can we wrap up the show? And we'll meet again, hopefully next week or the upper week at some point, just to discuss more and more about relationships. And I'll try and get in some guests, maybe female guests or some big name to come and join us and hear us out, and young, old, mature people to come and express themselves here. And we'll just get to learn. I mean, it's all a learning curve. Nobody has all the answers. I tell you all the time. So wherever you are, in our famous 3 words, love, peace, more
great.
Amen. And whatever you do, please, please, please join the BNS family. We count on you. We love you. And thanks for all your support. Very soon, we'll be doing 5 years. So we have to celebrate that one big. I don't know what the deal is, but we'll have to plan it and come up with something. Take care, guys. Until next weekend. Peace out.